Donald Trump warned that the U.S. will take very strong action if Iran executes pro-democracy protesters, as the world waits to see if a young shopkeeper has been hanged. Trump threatened the country's dictatorship while speaking to CBS News on Tuesday as thousands of demonstrators were feared dead in a brutal crackdown. If they hang them, you're going to see some things, the U.S. president said. His remarks came as 26-year-old Erfan Soltani was feared likely to become the first person executed over the demonstrations, with reports saying he would be hanged on Wednesday morning local time. The U.S. president was asked about the substantial death toll in Iran, reports that the regime had ordered such hangings, and whether this would constitute the crossing of a red line. "I haven't heard about their hangings," Trump said as he toured a Ford factory in Detroit. "We will take very strong action if they do such a thing." When asked by a reporter what his end game was, Trump said things would not go well for the Iranian leadership. If they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, now you're telling me about hanging. We'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good, Trump said. The U.S. president also told Iranians that help is on its way in a cryptic social media post. He has kept his options open while advisors met to discuss their next steps, including military intervention. When asked last night what this help could consist of, Trump responded, "You're going to find out." The president has said military action is among the options he is weighing to punish Iran over crackdown. "The killing looks like it's significant, but we don't know yet for certain," said Trump upon returning to the Washington area from Detroit, adding he would know more after receiving a report on Tuesday evening about the Iran protests. "We'll act accordingly," he said. Executions in Tehran typically happen around the dawn call to prayer, which was scheduled for around 5:45 a.m. local time on Wednesday, 2:15 a.m. in the UK, 9:15 p.m. Tuesday evening in New York. There's been no update out of Tehran since that time passed. Soltani is one of 10,700 individuals who have been arrested since protests began on December 28, according to the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency. The activists say the young Iranians' only crime is shouting for freedom. The 26-year-old, who owns a clothes shop, would reportedly be allowed just 10 minutes with his family before he is hanged. Irina Moradi, a member of the Hengar Organization for Human Rights who has spoken to Soltani's family, said that his loved ones were shocked and in despair at the unprecedented situation. She said, "Their son was never a political activist, just part of the younger generation who was protesting against the current situation in Iran." Ms. Moradi added that there was no information about him for days before authorities eventually called his family to inform them of Soltani's arrest and imminent execution. Iranian officials put the death toll at more than 2,000 after weeks of protests across the country, but the true figure is likely to be far higher, with reports as many as 12,000 could have been killed. Most of the fatalities were protesters, despite Trump's pledge that the U.S. would intervene militarily should the regime target civilians. More than a week has passed since Trump, a supporter of regime change Iran, said the U.S. was locked and loaded should protesters be targeted. Posting on social media yesterday, he further raised the prospect of an intervention, saying, "Keep protesting. Take over your institutions. Save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. MAGA, make Iran great again. Donald J. Trump." Iran, in turn, has accused the U.S. leader of encouraging political destabilization and inciting violence. In response to Trump's social media post that help is on the way, Iran's UN ambassador Amir Saidiravani said the U.S. president was inciting violence, threatening the country's sovereignty and security, and seeking to destabilize the government. The United States and the Israeli regime bear direct and undeniable legal responsibility for the resulting loss of innocent civilian lives, particularly among the youth, he wrote in a letter to the UN Security Council on Tuesday. In Britain, Iran's ambassador was summoned to the Foreign Office as the UK announced another package of economic sanctions against the regime. Addressing MPs, Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper described the regime's response to public protests as abhorrent. Ms. Cooper did not give specifics on what sanctions would be put in place or explain why the ambassador had only just been summoned, but said measures will target finance, energy, transport, software, and other significant industries. Ms. Cooper stopped short of recommending UK citizens to leave Iran, despite British holidaymakers Craig and Lindsay Foreman being detained by Tehran without charge. France, the US, and Germany have already advised their citizens to leave Iran, she told MPs. The United Kingdom condemns in strongest of terms the horrendous and brutal killing of Iranian protesters, and we demand the Iranian authorities respect the fundamental rights and freedoms of its citizens. Communications restrictions, including an internet blackout, have hampered the flow of information in Iran. The UN said phone service had been restored, but the internet still faced restrictions. Holistic Resilience, a U.S. organization that works to expand information access in repressive or closed societies, said on Tuesday that billionaire Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service was now available for free in Iran. The unrest, sparked by dire economic conditions, has posed the biggest internal challenge to Iran's rulers for at least 3 years and has come at a time of intensifying international pressure after Israeli and U.S. strikes last year. The protests began on December 28th over the fall in value of the nation's currency and have grown into wider demonstrations and calls for the fall of the clerical establishment. Iran's authorities have taken a dual approach, cracking down while also calling protests over economic problems legitimate. So far, there are no signs of fracture in the security elite that could bring down the clerical system in power since the 1979 Islamic Revolution.